Hello and welcome to the Holistic Psychiatrist Infinite Intention Techniques Story Form Healing Session, where I share the story form version of the Infinite Intention Technique. I'm your host, Dr. Alice Lee, the Holistic Psychiatrist practicing in Utah, New York. So what is Infinite Intention Techniques Story Form? In a nutshell, it's using a technique to consciously connect to your subconscious by using symbolism, imagination, and story to bring healing at the thought and energy levels. Today, we'll focus on a very important topic, and that's healing our tendency to experience past traumatic experiences when triggered by similar experiences in our current life. So these past traumas, such as certain events or even repetitive similar traumas, can overlap our current experiences and make us feel re-traumatized again. We feel a similar surge of strong emotions, such as fear, anger, or grief, unexpectedly when the current situation gets triggered and becomes associated with that past trauma or similar series of chronic past traumas. So, for example, if a person experienced a lot of criticism growing up from parental figures, caregivers, or authority figures, and then they experience something where a similar situation comes up in the present moment where they feel criticized, they may have an immediate association between the past experiences that made them feel ashamed, powerless, and small with a current experience. And the emotional combination of the trauma in the present and all of the traumas in the past can cause the person to react in a way that's far more intense, and they feel much more devastated than that current experience would warrant. I'm sure we've all experienced that in our lives because it's so common and natural for our minds to be able to associate our experiences in the present and link it to all of the experiences that we've had in the past. So if the past experiences are traumatic and negative, then that can undermine our lives in the present moment. So I'm going to try to use story form to help us mitigate that process, okay? Because people experience so many different types of traumas in their lives, I would suggest that you choose a specific trauma or problem that pulls you into an associated past spiral of hurt and pain, and just work on that issue alone. Why? Because if you pick too many traumas and try to fix everything at once, the energetic shift can be a little overwhelming because your intentions can create physical shifts and changes such as detoxification or restoration of the body that requires a lot more nutrients in order for that to be completed. And you may notice over the next 3 days a lot of stress from all the changes that the energy is creating. So that's why, starting with one specific trauma or very similar types of trauma that have very similar aspects to them might be a better place to start, okay? So we're going to begin with a story form of the Infinite Intention Technique and start with energy breaths. And the story form that I'm going to provide for us is going to be very applicable and easily applied to people listening to this presentation today, no matter what kind of trauma you decide you're going to work on. Okay? All right. So let's begin with energy breaths. So to begin with energy breaths, I want us to just close our eyes and take some nice, deep, relaxed breaths. And just focus on your breath to help clear your mind. Next, visualize light within you and all around you. Think of yourself just glowing with light, like a light bulb or a firefly, just being filled with light. And we're going to let this light represent this visual, symbolic representation of life energy. We think of life energy as coming from a pure, perfect, and infinite source of life energy. And we set an intention to be one with this infinite source of life energy. What we mean by life energy is that it's filled with infinite and unconditional love, peace, joy, truth, creativity, strength, harmony, balance, goodness, mercy, forgiveness, health, wholeness, purity, abundance, courage, freedom, order, beauty, space, time, and power. So all of these good qualities, all of these energies and information systems is what we mean by life energy. And we want to think of ourselves as being one with this infinite source of life energy at all levels of being. So whether it's spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, or social, we set an intention to be one with this infinite source of life energy, just like a wave is part of the ocean. Next, I want us to set an intention to be open and receptive to divine spiritual support and healing. We ask for that divine spiritual support and healing to help us maximize the benefits of our energy work. And finally, let's set an intention that life energy will deliver and provide all of the helpful healing energies to your life at optimum and appropriate points in time, whether it's in your past, present, or future, helping you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, or socially. So set these as very clear intentions for yourself. All right, now we're going to go into the technique itself, the story form, and we're going to use our imagination and story to create a healing process for us. So imagine that at the beginning of our story, we're standing at the top of a hill. It's more like a slope, but it's a grassy, moderate hill. The grass is blowing in a nice cool breeze. There's sunshine all around you. The sky is a pale blue with lots of wispy, beautiful clouds. And as you're standing on top of this hill and look around you, you notice that behind you, the hill just kind of extends back into a field of beautiful, fresh green grass, beautiful trees and groves behind you with wildflowers. It's just a very peaceful, lovely place. And as you look down the slope, you notice that the bottom of the hill is a beautiful, like a dirt path, enough wideness to kind of have two people walk together side by side along this dirt path. And on each side of the path, there is grass, but there is also these strange holes. And these holes move around the ground, and sometimes they open up suddenly out of nowhere, and they spiral into that hole. And at the bottom of the hole is where you just feel stuck, almost like quicksand. You can't pull yourself out. So it's almost like a tornado that draws you in. And these holes represent the trauma. You can have one hole, you can have a few holes, but these holes represent the traumas that suddenly kind of pull you into the past trauma and cause you to re-experience that trauma as if it was happening in the present. And once that experience has played out in its completeness, then the whole just kind of spits you out and you're back on the path, but you're all shaken and, of course, unhappy because of the experience. So that's what these holes represent as you look down at this, field. And this beautiful stream separates you from a beautiful cottage on the other side. And the stream represents this current, separation between you and that goal that you want that the cottage represents. The cottage represents a safe place in your life, a place where you can rely on a feeling of safety, a place of joy and peace, a place where you feel empowered and you feel protected. It's also a place of success, of abundance, of goodness. It's a place of joy. It's a place where you can maximize all your talents and your intellect in creating a beautiful life for yourself. So that cottage is currently on the other side of this beautiful clear stream. The sunshine as it hits the water is sparkling on the surface of the stream. But right now, as you're standing on the slope of this grassy hill, there's no way to cross that stream. There's these holes that are kind of moving around in this field between you and the stream. And then the cottage that you want, that represents this wonderful life that you want, free of these, unexpected sinkholes pulling you in. That cottage is out there, and you can see it. It's surrounded by this beautiful, invisible field of protection, so that only good energy is allowed in. And as you cross that stream, you go into that area around the cottage that you can sense that beautiful, tingly, wonderful energy that is associated with that safe space. So as you look down this hill, you're like, wow, it would be really wonderful to go to that cottage and live my life in a place where I feel safe and protected, and I can really maximize my potential in my life. But here are these, swirling holes. There's no bridge, and how am I going to get there? So we're going to just, as we're standing on top of this hill, we're going to notice that because we did our energy breaths and we're now one with this infinite source of life energy, that our intentions will play out in being able to transform at the thought level the conditions that we are facing. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at those moving, swirling holes that move around and have the danger of, pulling you in to past traumas. And we're going to set an intention that life energy will help move those holes from the path. So they're no longer going to be able to cross that path. They're still kind of moving around there. They're still present, but we're going to build through our intention and through life energy an invisible barrier between those holes in the field and the path, so that the holes are no longer able to cross over the path. The next thing we're going to set an intention for is for life energy to transform those holes. Number one, they're no longer going to be moving around randomly. They're just going to be kind of scattered around the field. They're going to start to slow down in terms of their spiral. You can see that the spiraling slows down and stops. And now we're going to fill up the holes with rich dirt. And now all of the holes now have this rich dirt. And into each hole that is now filled with rich dirt, we're going to place a beautiful fruiting or flowering tree, the seed of a fruiting or flowering tree. So we're going to just plop them in there through life energy. So life energy is doing this all for you as you're standing on top of this grassy hill. And now the visual image that we see is that we have a bunch of these holes. They're now filled with rich dirt. They are seeded with beautiful trees that will eventually fruit or flower. And now through life energy, we're going to let those seeds grow. And you're going to see from each of the holes a beautiful tree just coming out of the ground. And each of them have beautiful leaves, branches, tree trunks. They're very healthy. They're very beautiful. They're giving shade. We can see how these trees are arranged in such a way that they allow places between them where you can have a picnic if you want to go there. And now they're just starting to develop to the point where they're just starting to have beautiful fruits hanging from their branches. So they've grown up, they're flowered, they're having fruit. Some of those trees are meant to be flowering trees, however you want to imagine these trees to grow. And what is this beautiful visualization symbolizing? It represents the transformation of our traumas into growth promoting experiences. And the fruits of these trees symbolize all the wisdom and knowledge that we can learn from our past experiences. And that is how life is meant to be. That traumas are meant to strengthen us, help us to grow, and gain skills, whether it's compassion, patience, the ability to have greater wisdom and understanding. All of these things are what these trees symbolize. And now that these trees are safe, we're going to remove that invisible barrier between the path and these beautiful trees. And now all you have between you and those holes is just, there's nothing left of those dangerous holes, just the beautiful groves of fruiting trees or flowering trees. And then between you and the cottage now, what we need to do is bring life energy in. And now we're going to create this beautiful stone bridge that crosses from the path over the stream to the other side. And this bridge is kind of in a semi-circle. It's arching over the stream. You can imagine it's very solid. It's made out of beautiful rocks and stones, and the path itself is made out of cement so that it's very stable, and it's going to carry you over to the cottage. Now the cottage, we're going to just visualize that cottage that represents the space of thriving, life thriving for you, safe, peaceful. It's also exciting and fun to be there in that cottage. It's a beautiful cottage with windows, a lovely wooden door. There are grassy fields around it, some trees, but there's plenty of sunshine that goes through the windows. The trees aren't crowding the cottage. As you look at the cottage, you can see that there's a beautiful energy around it that protects that cottage from harm. Okay? And the bridge, of course, represents this ability through life energy for you to reach that cottage of your intentions, of your energy, of your mind, and of your life. All right, so now that we've kind of created this shift in everything, I want us to just go ahead and start walking down the hill, the grassy hill. And there's one more thing that we're going to make this even easier, and that is we're going to create this dirt path and make it into a moving sidewalk, kind of like the moving path that you can see in airports, where it just, once you step on it, it just takes you easily to the next place. You don't even have to move very much, and just takes you there. So we're going to see this path being transformed to a very easy moving sidewalk before you even get there, to take you to the bridge. And from the bridge, the path to the house is also going to be converted into this easy sidewalk until you reach the front area of the house. Okay? All right, so we're going to come down the hill and take the moving sidewalk. You can step off the moving sidewalk, of course, anytime you want. And if you want, you can step off, grab some fruit. We can create a basket for you to hold some of the fruit that you want to take with you to the cottage. So you can do that if you want. Bring that basket with you, and you can just create that through your mind. You can see that basket that you're holding in your hand, and you can, step off the moving sidewalk if you want for a moment, grab the juicy fruit or fruits that you want from the trees that has been created from your past experiences that once hurt you but is no longer harmful to you at all. They have been transformed through life energy to these beautiful, rich, life-giving, wisdom-providing fruits. And so go ahead and pick some of those fruits, put it in your basket if you want, and then get back on that moving sidewalk. Take yourself to the bridge and cross the bridge over the beautiful stream and then move on to the moving sidewalk to the cottage. And once you get to the cottage, you're at the door, and this cottage has been waiting for you throughout your life. It's your cottage. It is always your right, your birthright to be there. You own that cottage. It was meant for you. Has been saved for you all this time. And so when you go to that doorknob and you go to open that door, as your hand wraps around that doorknob has this magical quality of knowing that it's you, and it will open. It won't open for anybody else. It's only opening for you. So go ahead and put your hand on that doorknob, twist it, open it up, and let's have you go into this beautiful space. It's cozy. It's filled with light. It's much bigger on the inside than you even thought from looking at it from the outside. There are places where you can rest. There's places where you can play. There's places where you can create. It's a very lovely space. And so as you step inside, why don't you pick a space that you want to spend some time with? And as you go in, close the door behind you. And as you look out from the windows of your beautiful cottage, you'll see beautiful trees and flowers and green grass. But you also see that the air is filled with protection. It's a very magical, peaceful place. And you're going to be able to stay there anytime you want. You can come out of the cottage anytime you want and go to your beautiful grove of fruiting trees, flowering trees. You can have a picnic under those trees if you'd like. Now, this is all transformed now for you. Your ability to do so is created through your connection and oneness with this infinite source of life energy. And as you rest and sit down or lay down in this cottage, let's focus on gratitude, receptivity, and integration of all of the positive energies and healing that was provided to you through this healing process. All right, so we're going to return back to the conscious state of mind that we started with. And to do so, I want you to just take a moment to come out of your cottage, take the moving sidewalk back to the bridge, cross over the bridge, take your moving sidewalk back to the base of the hill. Let's walk up the hill, the grassy hill, and let's stand up at the top of the slope of the hill again, where we had started our transforming, healing energy work. And as you stand at the top of the hill looking down, you're seeing now that everything is in place. Everything has been healed that you wanted to heal through the creative energies that you've aligned with in terms of life energy. And everything is in a beautiful state of order, and it will continue to be maintained through life energy for you. It always will be there for you. It's a part of you now. And so as you look at the whole scene, you're filled with a sense of joy and peace and gratitude for the healing that has occurred. All right. Let's open up our eyes. Okay. So that is story form. And you can use this recording as many times as you want for whatever traumas you want to work on. I hope you've enjoyed today's content of using and applying story form to help you heal from past traumas and the way they tend to re-traumatize us in our current life. Please subscribe to this podcast for more informative insights on holistic psychiatry. Also, if you have not done so already, please subscribe to my holistic articles on my website, holisticpsychiatrist.com, for wonderful stories and developments from my holistic practice, and where you'll find links to all my social media platforms. For those who want access to professional grade supplements, you can register for FullScript's online dispensary on my website under the Products tab. FullScript is a nutritional supplement dispensary where you'll find the industry's largest catalog of high-quality nutritional supplements from trustworthy companies and a list of my favorite nutritional supplements used for my patients' regimens. Until next time, let's keep building our well-being from the thought up and have a wonderful, joyful week. I look forward to having you join me next time. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.